So interesting. So could an insanity defense work here? And if so, at what point did Steins go insane? Let's bring in our guest. So this is going to be a good segment here. Michael J. Brown still with us. I want to welcome in retired NYPD detective and Professor Mike Alcazar. Good morning to you, Detective. All right, so I want to look with you both at these videos because we know what these two were doing and how everything was just fine, and then it was not. So starting out, they're in the judge's chambers, they're having a meeting, and the judge is having a cigarette. You can see the sheriff sitting across from him. All is well and good. Then they go off to lunch together. They enjoy a nice meal. Everything is fine. You see them all walking back together in a group. Everybody seems peaceful and to be getting along. And then we see the shooting happen in the chambers. Sheriff Steins squares up, takes aim at the judge. The judge hides underneath his desk, tries running from him, shoots him multiple times. And then afterward, that video we just saw together, where he is calm, cool, and collected coming out of the courthouse. Okay, so if he went insane, when did it happen, and can this defense be successful? Michael J. Brown, to you first. A masterful criminal defense attorney you are. Does this sound like a good defense to you?
Well, it's going to be tough, Julie. Let me just say this. I think the defense attorney put the state on notice on two possibilities. One is extreme emotional disturbance, and one is the insanity defense. I suspect they did that because there's time limitations like we have here in New York, and they're going to sort it out once they get their psychiatric people involved. Now, having said that, and they're two totally different defenses, having said that, on the insanity, I think it's going to be an extremely tough sell. Because what you have on the insanity, you have to develop a psychiatric history. And at the moment of the incident, they didn't appreciate the seriousness, the gravity, the wrongfulness of their actions. You can tell so much by both the lead-in video, which we're watching now, as well as the video during the actual shooting and after the shooting. There's nothing, and I'm not a psychiatrist, but just from a common sense approach, there's nothing that we see that would say, hey, this individual is insane. Again, that's completely different than extreme emotional disturbance, so we can get into that after if you choose.
Yeah, I appreciate that. This is a great point. Michael J. Brown, hold that thought about emotional disturbance. Mike Alcazar, looking at these videos, you've analyzed them, knowing what goes into an investigation like this. What do you think when you hear he may want to present an insanity defense?
I agree with Michael. He seemed pretty cool, before the incident, and a little bit calculating. So, yeah, I agree. I don't think it's gonna bode well for him. He seemed to be a cool customer. He seemed to be biding his time, and until he committed this homicide.
There may be more information. There is. We just don't know it. You both know how there was something that was learned between the sheriff and the judge. We know that the sheriff made a phone call from the judge's phone to his daughter and discovered his daughter's contact information in the phone. Don't know, but perhaps something pertaining to his minor daughter might have set him off. Detective Alcazar, do things change then? If there was something, who knows what, something terrible, something, what is the worst thing you could think of? Could that possibly have caused him to split second lose it?
Sure. Part of the investigation, we're going to look at his electronic history, his email history, any kind of investigations involving potentially his family. Maybe the judge was involved. So maybe then you can have like some kind of a component that said, okay, that's what triggered him. Maybe that's what set him off. And again, that's for the lawyers to argue that.
Right, exactly. Michael J. Brown, does that change anything if there was something terrible, if he was mad at this judge for some reason that people could understand? Do you think that gives the defense any more weight?
It does. It's a tremendous issue on the extreme emotional disturbance, Julie. So that's the triggering event type of defense. And we learned this in Law School 101 when you walk home, you get home from work and you walk into your bedroom and you see your wife in bed with your neighbor and you lose it. It's a triggering event. You end up killing him. And in those couple of moments, you just lost control. It's not a defense to the crime, but what it does do is get you to a lower crime. Specifically a manslaughter in the first degree, which is still a significant crime, but it's a lesser crime. So that's something we have no idea by watching these videos. You don't know if there was a triggering event. A triggering event literally could be a 10 or 15-second incident. And I think you hit the nail on the head. There's something with the daughter, and we don't know. We don't want to speculate, but something horrific, if that happened, that absolutely would be what would constitute a triggering event and could be an extreme emotional disturbance type of defense.
Michael J. Brown, thank you for that. Yeah, you know, when you say that, I mean, it makes sense. I think it's something relatable to people. And Detective Alcazar, we know that Sheriff Steins made some comments to investigators right after about thinking that someone was coming after his family. He made some comment, I don't know the exact words, but it was something like they're trying to kidnap my family. And what does that make you think? If you came upon him right after this event and you hear a guy say that after he just shot his friend and colleague?
Yeah, you know, that would be a concern, right? That's something that he's emotional about. And like Michael said, maybe that's what triggered the act. So we would definitely look into, again, his history, any kind of domestic history. What's going on with him and his wife? What's going on with him and his children? And what's the relationship between the family and the judge? So a lot of background information that I'm sure they're combing through right now and will be revealed during the trial.
Yeah, Detective, you're exactly right. The family, the relationships, these are people that knew each other well, have a long history of being colleagues and friends, which makes this case all the more disturbing. So many questions still unanswered. We'll leave it here for now, but great points from you both as always. Detective Alcazar, welcome back. Come back again soon. We've missed you. Michael J. Brown, we're going to see you next week. Thank you both so much for everything this morning. And coming up next here on Opening Statements.